some of these kids have never been told like it is. And I think that as well as teaching them tennis, like I'm teaching them valuable life lessons like along the way.
I believe at some point during your development, you have to be told you're bad at something like to your face. Whether that's true or not.
Oh my gosh, I also do that as well. Like the kids I like, the kids I don't like. I think it's funnier when I tell the kids I don't like that they're bad at tennis. I'm like Caroline, you are not good enough to be talking to me like that. Like
Manic,
Pixie,
Jump Scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart.
Hi. We're
Quinn.
And we're Becca. And welcome to Manic Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where Becca and I talk openly about our shared delusions,
passions,
and love for
each other.
Oh my goodness, Becca.
OMG.
Now something is different. Something has changed within the pod.
Something has shifted for sure.
There's a glitch in the matrix because there's an extra person in the Zoom room today. Well,
oh my God.
As you should say.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry if you didn't notice that.
Jeez. Jump up on me. That's crazy.
But as you all heard last week and Becca and I lived through, we had a little contest right on this very show to be the very first guest in the MPJ cinematic universe. And so today, Lauren Taylor has joined us to redeem her prize. Lauren, welcome back to the pod.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness. It is a delight. It's a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me on again. I'm a kid in a candy store. What can I say?
Oh my gosh. And we're so happy to have you on. So Lauren,
so happy.
My first question for you in our little, catch up is like, how has life changed? What has the reaction been like to your win? Do people think you were the rightful winner of the trivia contest? Do they think the fix was in? What are the streets saying in your view?
Well, there was a pretty disturbing Reddit thread that popped up after my win that actually they said I cheated. They said I lied. They said that Nan actually should have ended up with 20 points because of a technicality in the rule book.
Oh.
I've had to go to therapy twice this week because of this Reddit thread.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. But all of my intimates have been very supportive of me.
Oh, that's great.
Good.
And that's what matters. Yeah.
I mean, I take issue with the thread just in the fact that it seems like it's some insinuation that me and Quinn are somehow wrong, which has never, ever been the case.
That's not allowed. Unless we acknowledge it ourselves because we're trying to grow. But listeners are not allowed to acknowledge our wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, wow.
So that's a little weird. Also, Becca and I think we're running a steel trap production over here. Turns out someone leaked the rule book on our watch because how are they referring to this rule book that we in no way publicize?
I didn't even know what the rest of the rules were.
I made the rules and I didn't even know what the rest of the rules were. I don't know what kind of math they're doing, but
crazy.
I don't know. At the end of the day, you're here and Nan's not.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
JK. Nan's getting her spotlight on the social media channels where she is being used as the Contemporary Days Aesop's fable. Actually the Contemporary Days Odyssey, because Odysseus, his whole thing was being hubristic, and so yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so Lauren, what has been going on in your life outside of MPJ since that episode happened? Anything you want to catch up your new adoring fans on?
To be honest, it's kind of been a flop of a week.
Okay.
And that's okay because when there's a flop, there's a redemption.
Yes.
And that just tells me that this week is going to be so much better.
For every flop, there is an equal and opposite sleigh.
Yes.
That's the law of thermodynamics. So,
So stay tuned. And that is all I will say about my flop of the week.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Love that so much.
I think astrology also agrees with you. It's been tough. Some planets are not aligning this week, but last week seems to be cleared up though. So
yeah, I felt that very much as well. I think things are I've definitely been feeling some resistance in my life as well. And so, yeah, Becca, what is going on with you this week? What has been going on since last we spoke to this lovely audience we have?
Well, speaking of stuff, today was my first day as official lead cashier at Ulta Beauty.
Oh my God.
So officially promoted. And
Her.
I will say the other lead cashier, I do feel some animosity coming towards me. It's such a below deck situation.
Not the workplace drama.
I know. And one of my managers pulled me aside recently and was like, just watch out for people who are going to like not like you anymore. And I was like, wow. So it's like that. So it's like that. And I'm just not a person who can really deal with being not liked. I'm trying to. But in this case, I do feel myself also just leaning into that, like not liking her.
Yeah.
But I need to take a step back a little bit and be like, wait, maybe this is not coming from a good place. But basically I just need to do some meditations, get some evil eyes, I feel like.
Literally.
Just in case. But I'm
Sage the workplace.
Yeah, seriously. Put some extra crystals in my pocket.
Literally,
I don't know.
for protection, yeah.
I don't know if you have advice about this. Maybe this is a real life comment corner where I'm asking you guys, how do I deal with this?
Right in. Yeah. How does Becca deal with people being rude, nasty even? And so yeah, I feel like I'm somebody like I feel like I think that I care if people don't like me, but then when it actually comes down to it, I'm like,
Yeah, especially because in this situation, I know that I am more well respected in general.
You outsold.
So,
period.
What can I say? So yeah, maybe
who got 4 people to sign up for a credit card in a single shift?
Me, every single freaking day, dude.
Yeah, Becca's opening new lines of credit every day. Yeah, I think it's important to in life. I don't think it's like you shouldn't care about anyone's opinion of yourself. I think that's a little bit like extreme. I think there are certain people in your life whose opinions are going to be more useful and important than others. And that's also going to be something that's affected by time. And so like, obviously being friends with like Becca, I very much like your opinion means a lot to me. Lauren, you're someone I've just met off the street virtually. And so like, we're working towards that in our relationship, but,
it will come.
It will come. And, or it won't. And so, but it's like important to know that like, okay, do I really care about like what this random girl I work with at the makeup store thinks about me? Sorry, I shouldn't have. That was a little misogynistic of me. I shouldn't have assumed she was a woman.
I did say she, so
you
probably just filed that in your brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, again, no wrong being done. But yeah,
never.
That's so interesting.
You. Yeah, so that's kind of like.
Girls are a little jealous.
Yep. Yeah. I really feel like I'm just so Kate on Below Deck right now.
Literally. No, because you're just trying to manage to the best of your abilities and people are hating on you for that.
Yeah. And have a little laugh. Take a little joke every once in a while.
Take the piss a little bit.
Exactly. But I can't with this energy. So
there's some people you can piss take with. There's some people you can't.
Exactly.
Lauren, this leads me to another question. What is your relationship to Below Deck?
It's actually funny. I first heard about it on another podcast.
Wait.
Wait.
What?
Whoa.
A
There are other
lesser-
podcasts?
a
Who is doing
lesser
Who,
known
who's,
podcast.
who stole our idea?
Irrelevant.
Uh,
I won't
her.
send any more followers their way. let
Yeah,
me just
no.
say.
They don't need our platform,
Thank you.
baby.
And they interviewed, and it's escaping me. It was an Australian girl. She seemed very nice, but it was, maybe blonde perhaps. And I was like, this show seems so interesting. My family does not own the platforms to me to be consuming that media, but I really took what you said to heart on Below Deck, and it seems and Quinn, the competition aspect makes it so much better. And I like how they're not the rich people; they're the people working. It's
right?
Literally.
it's like Hell's Kitchen meets I don't know, Summer House.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Wow.
It's very interesting because like Bravo, the network that airs Below Deck, is like also known for like the Housewives franchise, which is like basically just like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
In fact, Housewives have like come on and like been like the charter guests. And it's funny that you say that about like the workers and stuff, because I read this like Washington Examiner, which is like a far right like opinion article about Below Deck, and it was this guy who like I probably would not agree with on anything else, but talking about how much he like loved Below Deck because it's about like the working class, and like it can give people more of a more of like a relatable like thing to watch than just watching like rich people on television, which is the thing we're kind of obsessed with.
Yeah, that's funny because then Bravo also does the meet in the middle of both of those shows, Millionaire Matchmaker, where they take a millionaire and a common person and put them on a date.
That's crazy. I feel like Patty would be a really good fit on this show.
Patty on our podcast?
Yeah.
I believe so too.
I've seen half an episode of Millionaire Matchmaker like 10 years ago, but I feel like I got a vibe from her and I'm like, okay.
Oh, I used to watch it all the time. Oh my God. She would definitely, if we asked for some millionaires to be matched with, I think she would do her job.
That sounds like our next game.
Patty.
Patty.
Come on over.
Maybe some cross promotion. I'm sure you need it.
Oh.
Anyways.
Quinn, what's been up with you?
I'm so glad you asked, Becca. So we filmed that cheeky little game show, and then I had 2 concerts last week. August, the month we're in now, the fall for Becca, very much the summer for me. My apartment is well over 80 degrees where I come from you today, so it does not feel like fall in my apartment. I'm not going to mess with Becca's reality though, because far be it for me to do something like that.
Thank you.
But so yeah, August is like my month of like concerts. I have literally 2 more concerts this month, and then I just had 2 in the past week. And so I saw Muna last Wednesday at Mr. Small's in Millvale, Pennsylvania. And
was it in the same room we saw Caroline in?
It was in the same room where Becca and I once saw Caroline Polachek, which
very nice.
Still the most visually arresting concert experience I've ever had.
It was so crazy.
Caroline Polachek, something she brought is the visuals. Like it was an experience. And
the projections.
I enjoyed it so much. As somebody who wasn't even a huge Caroline Polachek fan going into it, I had listened to Pang maybe twice. But like she really brought me in with and also the choreography. Mama, you open the door to another door to another door. Yeah, very much that. And so it was the same room where we saw Caroline Polachek, and it was a first for me because it was my first time attending a concert alone.
You went alone?
Yes.
That is so slay.
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
Because all of like Becca and I's friend group, like Silk Chiffon was such a thing in like our friend group. But then when it came time to buy tickets to the tour, everyone was quiet. I mean, Becca's across the state, so I'm not implicating her in that, but I'm checking up on some of the rest of y'all. Anyway.
Dang, if I knew that, I would have definitely take off work and come.
It was an amazing show. It was such a good show. Like first of all, So I go, I'm wearing the literal campus outfit I think I've ever worn.
You look so good. You look so good.
You can go to my TikTok for a little full look book. But these are some pieces I've been sitting on for a while. I bought these at least a month and a half ago. And I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna wear these. For one of them are like, my pants were pink, not quite hot pink, but like a nice
bright
like
pink.
a nice bright pink. And then I wore a little A-line tee, a white A-line tee under, and then I had this little, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a shirt, but kind of a scarf, but kind of, a lot of different things. It was very
It was
fringy.
A poncho.
Yeah, it was very poncho-y as well. But like you couldn't just wear this. Like you couldn't just wear it. Like it was a layer. And so it's funny because like almost everything I was wearing was marketed to like middle-aged women at one point. But I said, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take this for me.
You made it your own.
I made it my own. And so yeah. So I got a lot of compliments on my outfit, which was really nice. Oh, I also was I have a necklace that says Angel, and I was buying merch before the show, as I'm wont to do. I'm actually wearing my Muna Made Me Gay shirt.
Cute.
And the merch girl, whose name I believe was Kelsey, I go up to her and I'm like purchasing the shirts. I'm taking my form of electronic payment out. And she goes, what does your necklace say? And I say, oh, it says Angel. And she goes, is that your name? And I say, no, unfortunately. Or not unfortunately, I really like my name. But then she was like, well, I think you're an angel. And I was like, wow, Kelsey.
Aww.
And so yeah, that was a really beautiful way to start the night. And then I'm about to put y'all on. Their opener was this girl named Jensen McCrae, who literally walked out. I thought she was like a stagehand or like a technician or something, like setting up for the opener. She just walks out and she's just like this like early 20s girl with her little guitar, and she's like, hey guys, I'm gonna play some songs for you. Opens her mouth, most beautiful voice I may have ever heard in my life, like live.
Think of her. Oh yeah, wait. I follow her on TikTok. She has such good. She's an amazing lyricist.
Yes. And so I'd never heard of her. She has literally one of the best live vocals I've ever heard. Like a beautiful, beautiful voice. Yeah, and so that was really fun because now and I love an opener. I love seeing an opener. Which I'm gonna contradict in just a minute, but I do love seeing an opener. I love learning about the new talent. But then Muna comes out, and it was one of those moments where like you think you're gonna like something, you're like, okay, I bought a ticket to this show, like I'm gonna enjoy it. But like I didn't know just how much like it would mean to me to like be there, and how fucking fun it was like to just like be in the audience.
Yeah.
Like at one point in the set, spoilers for the set for all of those who don't want to be, spoiled and stuff like that. They did Stay Away from their second album, Saves the World, which is a song I've been bumping to for literal years at this point. And like when they did that song, I was screaming every word. I was like, and it was just, it just had an effect on me that I wasn't even knowing it was going to have.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was so hot. They were like, they had to like be in the middle of the concert, like, okay, guys. The venue literally put out like buckets of like water, like buckets of like ice water and like free cups and stuff. And they were like, because it was so hot, even with like the air conditioning on. They were like, so guys, we think this is our sweatiest show ever tonight. So like, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. If people are like in the crowd struggling, like let people through, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, but then they were also like, okay, fuckers, dance. Like they very much wanted us to dance.
Do both.
Also, all three of them were so hot.
They're so hot.
All three of them as a collective. I don't know if you like, I think they're all so like, they truly have a queer presentation, and like truly like there's androgyny going on, there's femme, there's masc, all at different points kind of coexisting. And so I feel like no matter what like orientation you are, you can't go to a Muna show without being like turned on.
It was one of the sexiest experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. And also we need to talk about something Becca always talks about is the fact that she had a connection with Katie Gavin, who is the lead singer of Muna, when she saw them open for Phoebe Bridgers. And I similarly felt like I had a connection with Katie Gavin.
Were you by the front?
I was
Okay,
like
yeah.
a good, I'm very tall, so I imagine I stick out. And so I was like right next to the door where you walk in.
Gotcha.
Like I was kind of over a little bit. I had a nice view of the stage though. I planned to get there earlier than I did because I didn't want to be near the front, but such is life, you know. But I was still very close and I still got to see everything. And yeah, Katie Gavin, I don't know if it's that she just has je ne sais quoi as a performer that makes you feel connected to her as an audience member. That's a possibility, but what I think is even more possible is that she's just drawn to energies like mine and Becca.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah. Yeah, because I similarly felt very connected to her.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that she would be attracted, fall in love with either and both of us.
Yeah. So the Moonisode of Moonisode of MPJ, that would be like a dream. But yeah, if we had all of them. But yeah. Also, the song Home by Now is my favorite song on Moona. I'm ready to come publicly with that. It was just a song that I was listening to a lot, and then when they did it at the concert, I was like, oh, this is like the most fun I've had in a while.
Okay, fun.
Just dancing to it and jumping, and it was a fun show.
Wow.
And then 2 days later, who do I see but Charlie XCX? Yeah. For the second time on this tour, because So Nice had to do it twice. Did I buy these tickets before I even went and saw the first one? That's very possible. But last time I did see Charlie XCX, I don't know if we've talked about this on the pod, but I did have a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
And so going to a Charlie XCX show with a sprained ankle, you guys, is not super fun, especially because Charlie likes to yell at her audience, jump. And that was something I couldn't do 3 days after breaking my ankle, or not breaking it.
Yeah, wait, whoa.
I never went to a doctor, so I think I self-diagnosed myself with the sprain. And so yeah. Anyways, also when I went in Philly, there were people fully like in a K-hole in front of me. That's like the only thing I can imagine happened.
Yeah.
Like there were people fully incapacitated standing right in front of me, like fully stepping on, like, again, not to bring my ankle up for like the third time in like a minute, but like they were fully stepping on like my booted foot, like falling all over people.
Philly concerts are crazy in that way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so I was like, is this a Charlie XCX fan base thing, or is it like a Philly thing? I think it was more of a Philly thing. I think it was a confluence of the two factors, but it was definitely more of a Philly thing. Pittsburgh's a little bit more reserved, polite, conservative even. And so, yeah. But it was so fun. I went with my two friends, and they both also really enjoyed the concert. It's fun being at a concert, like seeing it again and knowing everything that's going to happen. And like being like, just like, yeah. Okay. And then Becca, this is the other thing I need to tell you. And also Lauren. Literally, I counted at least. Okay, actually, I'll let you guess. Okay. So I, of course, we're at a Charlie XCX show, bound to have some crushes in the crowd. How many people that I have purported to have a crush on were at the Charlie XCX show?
Can I ask one question? Out of the 5?
No, even expanding upon the 5.
Oh my gosh.
Not saying it's more than 5, but saying that like it wasn't all the 5 that Becca and I have in our famous crush game. Lauren, you are also encouraged to take a wager.
4.
I was going to say 3.
So you're both wrong, much like last week. I counted 5 crushes.
Oh,
5 crushes.
Wow.
5 crushes at a single concert.
Was Fuel Waiter there?
No, not that I know of. If he was, 6.
All right. Wow.
Including Becca, did I ever tell you? So spring semester, I don't know if it was a fall semester discovery, but I'm pretty sure it felt more of like a spring semester thing. There was this person I would see around campus and be like, oh, I'm very attracted to that person. And I like kept seeing them. And like I figured out, like one day I was like in the archives in our library and he worked in like a different section of the library. And I was like, ooh. And
I think you told me this.
Yes. So there was this person that I had like a crush on who I would see in public sometimes.
He was there?
Yes. And who is he standing with? And who is he standing with? But 2 of my now former coworkers.
Guys, it's actually crazy how crushes really are so much closer to us than we think.
Literally. Oh, and they post, one of them posts an Instagram post the next day about the concert. Who's tagged in it but the crush? Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It
Mhm.
makes me so much more mad. I just have a whole thing about crushes now because of how terrible our crush game went. I don't know.
Yeah, especially Becca's side of the crush game. But one day we will tell the tale once the NDAs are expired and we can talk freely about some things going on in our lives.
Yeah.
Becca and I will tell the story of the crush game, and let me tell you all, it is a harrowing tale.
I was
not even for me, just on Becca's end, really. Like,
no, you were doing great. Actually,
I did pretty good.
I feel it could not have gone worse. I believe.
I don't think you failed. I think there were just universal factors setting you up to lose.
Fate just absolutely had it out for me.
Yeah. And so that's what happens. Yeah, there were at least 5 crushes at the Charlie concert. I didn't see all of them, but I knew they were all there. In terms of who I saw, 3. In terms of who I like physically saw, that was 3 people. But I knew 2 other ones were
present,
scampering about. But yeah, that's kind of those were the more interesting things that happened to me this week.
You're such a concert girl.
I know. I am becoming more of a concert girl. I also did try to wear ear protection because that's something I'm trying to be more cognizant of, but I really ditched it like right as soon as Muna came on and then did not bring them to the Charlie show.
Yeah, it's annoying and it's just not worth it.
It's tough.
Yeah, unless the room is really small, like,
Yeah, and I don't know. Gotta die sometime, right?
Yeah.
What I learned ASL for, if not to lose my hearing later in life.
Exactly.
I'm ready. I'm uniquely situated to lose my hearing later in life.
I am so ready.
Oh my God. But yeah,
doctors say I probably will.
The doctor says. Oh my God.
Doctor, tell me. Yeah. I have bad hearing. Anyway.
But yeah, anything else we want to catch the audience up on, my fellow podcastresses?
No.
Okay. No. What is it? America has a problem. No. But yeah, so with that being said, we're nice and caught up. And so we are going to throw just a cheeky little break. And then we will be back to get into our topic for today's episode.
Guys, I'm scared.
Oh my God. And we're back.
We're back. So this week's topic is something unfortunately near and dear to all our hearts because of the society and economy we live in. And that is the concept of jobs. Having a job where you go to work and hopefully get compensated fairly. Usually that is not the case. We'll be talking about all of that. So I am very curious to know what everyone's first job was and how old you were when you secured it. I don't count babysitting or dog sitting as a job.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Okay.
I didn't want that to count either. I think it's
Good.
Wow.
It's just not real to me.
Mm-mm.
You don't clock in or out. Was that going to be your answer, Quinn?
I mean, well, it was going to be part of my answer because that was kind of like the first thing I did for like money as dog sit. Okay, so Lauren, we'll start with you as the guest. Tell us a little bit about your first job.
So I guess my first real job. So I was going into 10th grade, and I did a lot of community theater like in middle school and like the beginning of high school. And there were a few of these girls who worked at this princess party company where they would dress up as princesses and go and sing. And I was like, I needed to have that job. So I got a contact from one of the girls I was friends with, and I auditioned. And pretty loose audition, I'm not gonna lie.
That was my next question.
I got the gig, she said.
I'm like, what's the process?
Oh my gosh, she said, so I sang a few songs and she was like, okay, great. Do you think you could wax your eyebrows? In the most loving way possible. They look fine now for the visual audience right now. My eyebrows are pretty thick and beautiful.
Lauren does have beautiful eyebrows.
They Very used nice. To be twice as thick.
Oh, okay.
Like they looked like I filled them in a la 2016.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't fill them in. So
they were just like that.
And it was getting to the point in my life where like I was getting my eyebrows waxed, I just wasn't getting them thinned. And just like that, I got the job. And I've actually once in a while, like I will still do parties for this company. They're really fun. They're anywhere from like a half an hour to an hour and a half. I go, I get dressed up, I sing, I take pictures. I'm also quite the comedian when I'm doing these parties. The last party I was in, they were like, I was playing and they were like, oh, sorry if that's copyrighted. You can take that
out. Girl in yellow dress.
I was a bookish princess in a yellow dress. And they were like, how'd you get here? And I was like, oh, well, I took a plane to New Jersey and then I took a bus and then I walked down the block. And I just like to do fun things like that. Like I say absurd things.
They like to pull their chain a little.
Just to pull their chain a little. It's become more of a show for the adults now. I feel like I'm a little older. Like I'm more concerned with making the adults laugh than
especially because that's who's giving tips at the end of the party.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's thinking like a below decker.
And you're a savvy businesswoman. No, you don't. You don't fucking care about the flop ass guest. You care about the primary. That's what you got to focus on. You don't care about the little kids.
Because they have no money.
They're peeing themselves. The book girl with the pretty dress is at the party, but their parents are the ones. Who are?
I was gonna say, do you always play the same princess, or is it different?
I play a little bit of a range, and I think that's as much as my lawyers will let me say.
Yeah, I get that. Keep
I've
yourself
definitely
safe.
seen you, the girl with the bob and all the roommates.
Okay. All the roommates. You know how when you're like a princess at Disney, you have to say like, oh, I'm friends with the one who does this.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally never allowed to say.
Yeah, which
that to me is crazy.
Yeah. No, I think.
Wait, not even at Disney?
Yeah, when you work at Disney, you can't say like, you can post, which I think the crazy part is you can post as many pictures as you want of yourself in the costume. You just have to say, look how great my friend Cinderella looks today, or I love taking pictures of my friend Cinderella.
Yeah. And like if someone asks what you do, you can be like, I'm friends with this Disney character.
Oh, but they refer to them by name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess so.
But we're not for copyright reasons. This is going back into the Disney bounding conversation that made me a little uncomfortable the first time we had it, to be honest.
Right. Oh my God. We need to stop bringing it.
Also, my family has a complicated history with the Walt Disney Corporation.
I know. I don't want them on your case anymore.
They came from my family. They came from my family, and that's all I have to say about that.
They came from my blood. Well, your blood came from them first, to be honest.
First strike. And so
Wow.
Oh my God.
That is a
Lauren,
really fun first job.
Yeah, that is really fun. And Lauren, I must tell you guys, I know we've had our fun, but it's time for me to reveal the fact that Lauren and I are actually good friends in real life.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
You guys didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it is true. It is true that Lauren and I have a little bit of a prior relationship. We've just been pulling your guys' leg a little bit. I'm sure you couldn't tell it all, but Lauren is like the very perfect person to play a Disney princess at your children's parties.
Good to know.
Wait, can I ask them about the tipping situation?
Yeah.
Like, would you always get tipped? Was it like suggested? Was it?
I think they just like, they always kind of, I would say most people do. Like, they're just like, throw me a 20. Because they have no idea how much I get paid. I honestly get paid. I probably get paid a little more than they think I get paid. Yeah, because I get paid like a flat rate, like for a party. And then no matter how long it is, too, it could be like 30 minutes. It could be an hour and a half. But like, I get paid a flat rate. And then sometimes more if I have to drive myself. And then they'll tip like 20. Usually it's 20. And you know, the people who are getting princesses like at their child's birthday party are, you know, middle class, like upper middle class. So they have some change.
They got some extra dollars.
Drive yourself, like the alternative is that the company drives you? The
pumpkin?
Yeah. So
the carriage, sorry.
Well, especially when I first started out, I didn't have my license. So my boss also does like amazing like face paint work. She's quite talented in that regard. So sometimes she'll go and set up like the arts and crafts. If usually if it's an hour and a half party, she's there doing face painting anyway. So she'll be there setting up. And then she'll drive, like if we're both going. But
gotcha.
If not,
one-stop shop.
Yeah. If not, it's just me and my Mini Cooper and like a huge dress. And it's funny if you see it at the stoplight.
Awesome. Yeah. Hilarious. Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's really
so
fun.
Interesting.
It's a fun first job.
So fun.
But Becca.
Yeah.
I believe we've talked about this. I don't know if it made like the actual podcast, but I believe we've talked about your first job in the context of this podcast before.
I think we did because I think I brought up how a curse was put on me that led to my chronic illness. And that is I worked at, and I'll say the name, I worked at Core Life, a salad eatery. Also, I'm so sensitive to like food being gross. Like I get grossed out so easily. Yeah. Working in food was a terrible choice for me. I did it for so long too. But yeah, that sucked. Oh my God. Something I'll say about Core Life. I liked working with another Lauren we know. My best friend from home, Lauren.
Quinn.
We did work there at the same time. She worked there for like 2 years and I only was like there for 4 months. But working with her was really fun. And also I do still sorry. Oh God. Lyric is a boy from Albania who works there. And became such a quick friend. And this sounds fake, but his best friend's name, who also worked there with us, names was Mar. So Lyric and Mar were
Yeah.
both the kids. They were just always hanging out at Core Life, and they worked so hard. They don't get paid enough. I think you only make like $8 there.
Yeah.
So not great. But yeah, it was fun, but it was also terrible and kind of miserable.
Yeah, because Lauren and Becca both had their like jobs in the state of Pennsylvania, which if you guys don't know, still a $7.25 minimum wage.
Is Delaware different?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh,
My first job will have a little bit of a caveat with that. I couldn't tell you what Delaware's minimum wage is, but I'm very sure it's higher than Pennsylvania's.
I would believe it. Interesting. Yeah, so that was not enough money.
So was it kind of like your typical salad place where it's like a bar and you're either like the spinach girl or like you're like the girl who does like the add-ins, you're putting like a carrot, a diced onion even.
Yes, it's like Chipotle of salads, but usually because of the shift time I was working, which was like after school time to night, usually there wasn't enough of us, so I'd have to make the whole salad. So stressful on me.
Oh my
But
goodness.
something that was nice that honestly is crazy now that I think about it, I never had to learn what was in each salad because there was the recipes right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah, I always wonder.
I never learned. And then when I got to Starbucks eventually, I was like, y'all just know everything in your head? That's crazy. Because I had been so used to having it right in front of me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it made for worse. I don't know. I think it's better when you know it.
Yeah, because then you can put your like heart into it and your finesse on it.
Exactly.
And make the salad experience great for everybody involved.
Also, something about that place is I was never trained. And one time, I think I brought this up. Someone was like, "Hey, can you ring this person out?" And I didn't know how to use. I'd never used a cash register before, so I charged a man like $5,000 for a salad. And I was like,
"You're joking."
No, and I was like, and so it'll be $5,000. And I was like, honestly, just take the salad because I don't know what to do. And then I had to be like, yeah, I don't know how to use it. And I told you that. So I let him walk away. It's terrible.
Oh my God.
You should not put teenage girls in a position. No, literally. But when I tell you I don't know how to do something, I was like, I really can't.
Baby, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I can't. Yeah.
Oh my
also
goodness.
At that job, okay, really quick. There was a girl that worked there that I thought, oh, this is bad. I don't even know if you should put this in. I thought she had some mental disability. And then I find out that our manager knocked her up. And I was like, guys, this is really bad. And then someone told me, no, she's normal. She doesn't have
anything diagnosable.
Yeah. And I was like, oh wow. But for a second I was like, oh, there's some bad stuff going on in this. I don't know. Managers
like there's something dark-sided.
Yeah. But
wow.
Yeah. Weird place.
Oh my goodness.
Place. Yeah. Also the like big manager would sometimes come in and he had something special for me because one time I was on my break like in the in the restaurant part and he sat down with me and he was like, so do you know what a libertarian is? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, that's what I am. I think weed should be legal. And I'm so glad to see young people like you out working. And then he was like, because when I was young, I had a job. He said to me, quote, but the Puerto Ricans took it. Isn't that crazy to say to a teenage girl when you're 45?
I'm disappointed but not surprised.
I just don't even know when people, it's so weird when people just come up to you and say the most like one of the more bigoted
Random
things you've
thing.
ever heard in your life, and they just think you'll like be okay with that.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, he is a libertarian.
Yeah. Oh
So
wow.
it
Oh
tracks.
wow.
Yeah, but I was just like,
When he said people like you, I was like, okay, gay
yeah.
conservative maybe. And then he like, no, he just meant white.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my god.
Gay conservative. Oh,
It's
you never
happening.
know.
It's
Yeah,
happening.
wow. Yeah, but that was my first
Wow.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Quinn, what was your first job? Also, how old were you when you got it?
My first job, so we established that dog sitting does not count as real labor. And so that was kind of how I made some like money on the side during high school. But I did not have a job during high school proper because, as we kind of established in the episode, I was very much an overachiever in high school. I still am, but I was much more an overachiever in high school. And so I like didn't have time for a job between theater, because I would have rehearsal every day after school for like 2 hours. And then literally like when I got home, I was just doing homework the whole night. Like I just remember like every like weeknight in high school doing homework like every night.
Homework took forever.
I know. Yeah, it was just And and so I didn't have time to like have a job, and luckily I didn't like super feel like I needed one. And so I did. It's funny because like now that everybody's talking about like gas prices and stuff with inflation, I used to hate paying for gas. Like it used to be my least favorite thing because like once I started driving, I like paid for my own gas and stuff, and so I would like find which places had the cheap gas. I was shopping the deals. Like if gas went up like 20 cents, I'd be like, oh my god, what is coming? Like what is happening? And now gas is like much more than whenever I was driving. And I'm just like,
Whatever.
I just fill up my tank every once in a
Whatever.
blue moon now, so I'm like, who cares?
Mhm.
And so yeah. But my first job was I got the summer after the summer after I graduated high school. And so it was a summer job. It was very interesting though. It was kind of a job, it kind of wasn't. It was kind of a job, kind of volunteer. I worked for AmeriCorps, which if you don't know, is like the Peace Corps, but less imperialist in that they only do stuff in America. And so it was established in the 90s to like, send like a younger core of people out to like help with various projects. They run a bunch of different projects and stuff. But there was an amazing nonprofit in the city of Wilmington where I was born and where I went to high school, called Summer Collab. And their whole thing as a nonprofit was closing the summer learning gap for low income students. And so if you don't know, like obviously higher income students across like education have a much better chance than lower income students. And that's especially pronounced during the summer because, higher income students have more regularly have like their parents in the home who are big providers of knowledge to them, especially when teachers aren't around. They also have better access to like books and other things where they can like, read and grow their syntax and vocabulary and all that kind of stuff during those summer months. And so what ends up happening is that lower income students tend to really fall behind during those summer months. And so Summer Collab as an organization was just trying to reduce that gap that starts to occur. So I was in what was called their literacy core. And so basically I was like a tutor for kids at a site, and we were there for like 12 weeks, like a whole summer. It was like a dead ass full-time job. Like I got there at 7:30 and left at like 3:30. And yeah, I would like help kids with their literacy basically. And it was a really cool experience. I obviously, since I was working for a nonprofit, I did not get paid very well. I didn't get like salary or not, I didn't get paid hourly. I got a stipend. And so I believe for each of the 3 months I worked there, I got about $700 a month, basically. Which was like a lot of money to me, especially because like I didn't have to pay my own rent and I didn't like, basically what I had to pay for was like gas and like food and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a lot of money for me. And then I also won an education award. So yeah, so I believe like over the summer, like between what I was paid and the education award, it was about $4,500, and I had to do, as a part of the program, 450 hours of community service over the summer. And so yeah, so it was about $10 an hour, but not really. And so yeah, but it was super fun. I actually, there's a lot of different parts to it. So I missed like the whole training because that was when I went on my trip to Ireland. So I missed the part where they actually taught us like about language and stuff. And like, they gave us all the useful information being like, okay, so here's how you explain this to kids, here's how you like break it down. I missed that whole part.
I can't believe they let you do it without getting the training.
Yeah. And so then when it came to actually like being on site, I was really shooting from the hip.
Who's to say?
I was just using my strong written and oral communication skills and trying to help these kids. And so, yeah, it was also really fun because you got placed on like a site. So there were about 20 of us working in the program, and we would be on different site teams at like, or no, there were probably about 40 of us actually. And we were on sites at like 10 different places. And so there was anywhere from like 2 to like 5 of us working at a particular site. And so we had a bigger site. So there were 5 people at mine. And it was fully like we were in the trenches together. And like we became like, the 5 of us became like super close over that summer because we were just like, so much of it because of like, it's a nonprofit, it's understaffed, it's underfunded, all this kind of stuff. It's serving low income communities. We were really like making a lot of shit up, and we were just like, it is crazy how much responsibility they gave to 18 to 20-year-olds to be like, okay guys, here.
Teach the youth of America.
Yeah, you have to administer like a full standardized test to these kids to figure out where they are. In terms of their literacy journey. Then you have to design curriculum for them every week. And then you have to get the materials, you have to do all this stuff, you have to coordinate all of it. It was crazy the amount of work we were doing.
Wow.
And so, yeah, but it was super rewarding, obviously. So basically what we would do is we would pull, after we did all like the testing and stuff, we started pulling like little groups. And so we would pull like my groups. One of them were rising kindergartners, which I don't even think we're supposed to be in our program, but I don't know. Couldn't have hurt. And then my other group was rising first graders. And then I had rising 5th graders. So those were like my 3 groups. And so, yeah, they were all super fun. It was obviously like a lot, like working with children, but I actually figured out I'm like kind of good with children. It was super fun. At least the memories I think back, like there were obviously some tense moments, kids throwing tantrums, some like crazy behavioral issues. But it was kind of crazy because like I remember there was this one girl I worked with who like, she came in and she was like, it was so hard to get her to pay attention to anything. I remember the first day she came in, she had like one of those weird like or not burritos, Doritos, but like the rolled Doritos, not Takis, but like knockoff Takis made by Doritos.
Okay.
And it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and she's like eating those, like, and she has it like all over her hands, and she's like doing all this stuff and like trying to like eat it while I'm like, okay, and it's like hard to get her to sit still, all this stuff.
We are the daughters of hot Cheeto girls that you could
not burn. Yeah. And so she was giving very much that. And like that, like I remember my first meeting with her being like, oh my God, like, I don't know how I'm going to do it.
She's crazy.
Yeah. Especially because the first time I had her with a bigger group. And so you quickly learned that like some kids could handle being in a group and some kids couldn't. Like you had to coach some kids individually.
Yeah.
And she was one of the ones I ended up having to pull individually, which of course is like hard because then they're like, okay, why can't I go with my friend? And I'm like, oh, well, you're like a different, anyway, it's hard to explain that to like a literal 6-year-old.
You're different.
You're different. But literally by like the time we like ended like the summer, she listened to me. She like trusted me. She had like we had like a good little relationship. Like it was just so like it was a really powerful experience, like understanding how you could like build trust with these kids. And like, as long as you invest in them and stuff, because also something that was like really disappointing about working there is like some of the people who worked not for like our organization, but worked on like the actual site, because it was like a summer camp that was kind of like summer school, but like, I don't know, it was like this very interesting thing, but it's so that kids have a place to go while their parents work during the day, basically. And so like, it would be like, it's interesting how many people are working in education who like have either fallen out of love with like teaching, or like, don't really have like lost the plot a little bit. And so, yeah, so it was disappointing to see some of the attitudes and stuff, but like, it made it nice for us because we were like all fresh faced and we were really like willing to like invest in the kids and stuff. And so they definitely reciprocated that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was a really cool experience. But something else I will also share about that is soon after I get back from vacation, only like a week after, me and my high school boyfriend, who also took the same job over that summer, so we were coworkers as well now. Literally a day, we had like this big organization-wide training that was held at our high school. Actually, we had this big organization-wide training held at our high school, and we had like a big training this one day. And then we went to our friend's grad party, and on the way back from our friend's grad party, we ended up like breaking up like in the car. And obviously after that, I went a little not so crazy-o. And literally anybody at our job who would listen, I was telling our business to. I had a mission to turn our whole work systematically against my ex-boyfriend. And it's truly like, if I ever regretted something in my life, it would be like this period and the actions I took during it. But it was like, I went scorched fucking earth. Like, it was crazy.
Sometimes you have to. Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I used to, I just remember that in high school, we had this program where people in higher levels of language classes could go and teach at the elementary schools like a couple times a week. I forgot that I did that. And at the end, you get a teacher review. And mine was fine. But the girl that I taught with, hers was terrible. And I felt bad because she did so much better than me. And she like wanted to be a teacher, but for some reason, like, I don't know if the teacher who was like, I don't know, reviewing us or whatever, like messed up our names or something. But I was like, oh girl, like, I don't know why that happened to you. But because I didn't really like the kids and didn't really try to connect with them. I just wanted to kind of leave school early. I will say that much.
Oh my God.
Because some kids are annoying and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were all
kids
annoying.
Were there any kids I like didn't like?
Yeah.
I forgot, but
Like,
yeah.
I just feel like I shouldn't have to explain to you to stop jumping up and down out of your chair. I'm just going to give you the silent treatment after that.
Kids are just like people in that, like, there's some you like, some you don't, and it's okay.
Yeah. And again, I don't blame myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure, Lauren, you've encountered many annoying children at your job, your princess job.
Yeah. Do you have any like interesting stories of like something that happened at like your princess job or any of your other jobs? Or like specifically with kids or like outside of that?
Well, I feel like I only work with kids. Like that's a big theme. That's a big theme with me. I do like kids, but I also like giving it back to kids
Oh, it's so fun.
they
It's so fun.
if they need it. Like
Nice.
there's like Princess Party Lauren, who's like very, calm and understanding and very patient.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm like tennis instructor Lauren, I'm like, Brinley, I asked you 4 times to pick up the tennis balls. I am calling your parents after tennis, and you will not be able to sit. You will sit for the rest. Like, and Brinley is just like 8, but she's like pissing me off today. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's awesome.
Like, I really give it to him. I really give it to him.
Oh,
and I'm sure they deserve it. I love that.
Oh my God.
No, but they do. Like, I just like go, like, I just like just am constantly just like screaming at them, and I love it. Like, I love how I get to like scream at kids, like, and no one's stopping me. Like,
that's amazing.
Oh my God, Lauren.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess talk about being a tennis instructor. How'd you get involved with that?
Yeah, what is that?
Who are you teaching to play tennis?
Great question, guys. So my mother is a tennis instructor. She came to this country to be a tennis instructor. She's originally from South Africa, but she came over when she was like 26.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's actually a lot of South African tennis instructors that come over. Like, I know, like, in our area alone, like, I know like 10 different people in the same boat.
Wow.
Wow.
I should pick up tennis again. That's crazy.
You mean a nice South African?
Yeah.
Or a mean South African, the way Lauren's talking about her pedagogy when it comes to tennis instruction.
Yeah. So I guess it was a bit of nepotism because I work for my mom. I've worked for her, I would say, like, my summer going into junior year. Ever since then, I've been teaching. I really just like to teach the little kids. I'm not big on technique. I like to play, but I like to play for fun. I'm not really interested in making the kids better. I just like to I like to feed. I like to have fun. As long as I'm having fun, of course.
And that's what it's about, ultimately.
And I work at a country club, so I think that's why I feel so justified yelling at these kids, because I know they have a much better life than I ever will.
You need to expose them.
They are so they have, some of these kids have never been told like it is, and I think that as well as teaching them tennis, like, I'm teaching them valuable life lessons, like, along the way.
I believe at some point during your development you have to be told you're bad at something, like, to your face, whether that's true or not.
Oh my gosh, I also do that as well. Like, the kids I like, the kids I don't like. I think it's funnier when I tell the kids I don't like that they're bad at tennis. I'm like Caroline, you are not good enough to be talking to me like that. Like,
oh my God,
you
are the bully they need.
And
you're the Abby Lee Miller of tennis, of the country club. Oh my gosh,
but
this is crazy.
I think they respect that. I think they respect that, like,
Jojo.
I push them back.
That's awesome.
No, like, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
I love that.
Okay. Wow. So Becca, any crazy stories from your employment history that you would like to share at this point?
There's so many.
I know.
I will tell the little story of when I was working at Starbucks, and it was in Pittsburgh. You get a lot of crazy clientele there. I know Molly told her jump scare last week about
And
The
I have
man with the javelin.
I have another story about a Starbucks I was in this week in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Well, one time a man came in probably at 5:45 a.m.
Uh-huh.
Which is 15 minutes after the store opens. And I was in there, and one other person, manager, was in there with me. And a man starts unpacking a suitcase on the other side of the wall in the cafe. And it sounds like he's building maybe a car.
What?
With the noises that we're hearing. Imagine just literally, it was the smallest suitcase ever, and we just start hearing metal clanking, rearing, like, and I was like, what could be happening? But we were both too scared to go over and look. Then the sound stop, and I don't see him for probably 2 hours. Then I go to piss on my fucking break. What's in the bathroom but the women's bathroom, but his suitcase? And I was almost tempted to steal it. But I was like, this very well could be a bomb. But I decided not to let anyone know. Someone else also found it though and said something. I was too scared. Oh wait, that also reminds me. Okay, so separate from this, because I don't know whatever happened with the suitcase or the man, or what those noises were. Also, one time,
Unsolved mysteries.
literally, someone who was kind of new, was doing something with the cold brew, changing a keg or whatever, and suddenly everyone starts, like, all of my coworkers, there's like 8 of us on the floor, we're all like, it smells so bad, and do your heads kind of hurt? And I'm like, guys, we should check the gas right now. And what do I go and see? But there was a gas leak. So I go, shh, and we plug it back in, and I was like, I think it'll dissipate. So we were all brink of probably poisoning ourselves and our customers.
Oh my God.
And instead of like clearing it out, I was like, I think we can continue to sell the coffee.
Oh wow.
And we did. But yeah, so those things happened a lot at that Starbucks. But Quinn, what was your Starbucks story?
A Starbucks in a urban center is just it's just everything. Anything could happen. Right. Truly anything could happen. Yeah. I was in Starbucks last week editing this very show, the podcast you all listened to last week with your ears. I was in a Starbucks tiddling with it on my little computer. And so I walk in, and I like to sit in like a comfortable chair. I love like a nice little padded cushy chair. And so this Starbucks that I walked into, it was not the one that Becca worked at. It's about 4 blocks up from the one Becca worked at. But we have 2 in like the neighborhood our university is in, which Lauren also attends. And so so I go, and I had mobile ordered because something about me, I stay mobile ordering.
You do.
And I stay mobile ordering, and I look, and I don't know how proper this is, but I did profile a person sitting in that section of like the restaurant as like homeless. And so I was like, okay. So I still decided to like sit there and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm gonna get jumped or whatever. And so I get my drink, and then I go back over there and I sit. And he's like on the other side of me. And I noticed before I sit down that he's enjoying like French fries. And so I'm like, I like French fries too.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that happens is the French fries just kind of like hit the floor next to me, and like a couple of like stray fries like go other places. So the man behind me threw the French fries, obviously, but not in a way where I think he was like mad or anything, but just in a way where he's like, oh, I'm done with this.
Oof.
And he thought that was like an appropriate way
to discard them,
to dispose of them. Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like editing a little podcast, somebody's getting a question wrong, and I hear like click, 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 and I'm like, does that sound like no, it can't be what I think it is, right? Like it's like click, 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 click. I'm like, no, that's not what that is. And then about 2 minutes later, I smell something, and by that point, I'm like, no, I was right. And the man was lighting a cigarette behind me in a store, like in a full store. Like it's 1995. He is smoking inside a coffee shop. Like just the clicking was a lighter, which I properly thought it was because I know what the sound a lighter makes as a pyromaniac. And I smelled it and I was like, okay. And so he's literally smoking a cigarette 5 feet behind me and we're in an enclosed space. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up and move. But something about me is that I'm not a narc, especially when it comes to like a homeless person. Like I'm not going to be like, I thought it was a little weird the workers weren't like doing anything about it, but like, I'm not going to like go up and be like, someone's smoking in here. Like, no, sorry. And apparently another person in the section wasn't either, because I stood up and there's this lady behind the man who's smoking a cigarette. And instead of like getting up and walking away, she has like a piece of like paper, of white paper. I'm going to do a visual for the podcast, much like this. And she's just going like this. Like airing, like
trying to get it away from her.
Like literally like just ventilating it out. Like not even like getting up and being like, can you stop? Like just like behind him, like
wow, that's crazy.
And I wanted to laugh so hard because I'm like, of all the solutions, of all the actions you could take to like rectify this is like the one you're gonna. And she's like clearly doing something. Like she has her laptop out. She's like trying to do something. And I'm like, so you're gonna. It was so funny and absurd to me. And so he's just smoking. I'm like, why aren't the workers doing anything about this? And then I walk like over to where the workers are, and you can't even smell the cigarette. And so I'm like, oh. And so yeah, there's just a man fully smoking a cigarette in a Starbucks.
Honestly, I kind of wish that's the way it was. Starbucks and cigarettes, because people smoke right outside all the time.
Yeah.
The aesthetics just match up, I guess.
Yeah, and when it comes in, you're like, ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. Very nice. Wow.
And so I guess now the time has come for Lauren and I to reveal that beyond being friends in real life, we were also co-workers for a long time.
OMG.
It's true.
Yes, Lauren and I were employed by the same people, which I've talked about a little bit about on the pod. But Lauren, do you want to give a little background on what our job was like?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. So, as Quinn's talking about maybe one too many times, we were, I still am. I still am. Quinn is formerly.
As of Friday.
As of Friday, college tour guides. As we say, give tours, change lives.
That's our slogan, baby.
Yeah.
Really?
I never told you that.
That's crazy that
give
they make that
change
claim.
Lives, baby. Change tours, give lives. That was the other thing we would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we were feeling a little silly.
We were so silly. We are the most annoying group of people
on
that
campus.
You will, on campus, or that you'll ever meet. It's kind of low key, like kind of elitist, but in the best.
No, I'm very curious to hear what you're.
No, because I remember like I wanted to be a Pathfinder because I heard Pathfinders were the best group on campus, and I was like, well, I deserve to be in that group, and I want the rugby. We get a rugby. It's like it's an iconic rugby on our campus. And you just like, oh, there goes a Pathfinder. Like you. Yeah. It's like a celebrity sighting almost.
Yeah. And so apparently also our tour guide organization is like a nationally recognized like college tour guide organization. Like we like our stuff is like we are put through a very serious process.
Oh yeah. I think a very common thing among new Pathfinders is the recurring nightmare of being over 5 minutes late. If you're over 15 minutes late to anything, it could be a meeting, it could be a shadowing, and you're a new hire, you are fired on the spot.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it is very intense, and that's why it's ranked so high, because like you have to be very serious about it. You have to memorize 3-hour-long tours. You know.
Yeah, so basically like the process Lauren and I went through, Lauren went through it literally our first semester of college, because Lauren and I were in the same year, but I graduated a little early, so don't worry, Lauren's not, Lauren's doing amazing in her own right. But yeah, Lauren started before me, and you basically sign up for an extra class you don't get credit for. You do get paid for it, but and so it's basically like an extra class. You have meetings, like you have 2-hour meetings once every week where you have like training, you take quizzes, you also have to do like evaluations for the different tours. And so basically you like learn all the information about the tours, and then you take a quiz on the information on that tour, and then you have to rehearse the tour like on your own time. And then you get like evaluated on it, being like, can you give the tour? Also, you can only fail one evaluation during your new hire semester. And so you only have one chance to like mess up basically across all 3 evals. So like if you fail your first eval, you have to be perfect throughout the rest of it.
It's not for the weak.
Yeah, and there's a whole system of points, like the whole, like the other, like the main thing about the organization is be on time. Like they, for whatever reason, they are super militant about people being on time. And so, and on time means 15 minutes early, because like if you're giving a 12 o'clock tour, you actually have to be there at 11:45. And that's like actually when your tour starts, or not when your tour starts, but like it could be when your tour starts, depending on, people showing up and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah. And so like Lauren said, depending on so like as like a seasoned tour guide, like you make it through your training semester, you can accumulate 30, they're called disciplinary points. You can accumulate 30 points throughout your whole time as like a Pathfinder. And there are ways to like work them off and stuff, but if you hit 30, you get dismissed, or fired. And when you're a new hire, like Lauren said, so during your first semester, you only have 10 points. And so if you're 15 minutes late to something, you're done. Like
that's
if you
10
wake up,
points.
Yeah,
it's 15.
It's 15 points.
Oh my god. I was like 30 points. That's so much, but I guess I didn't realize that it was 15 points.
So 5 minutes late is 5 points. Well, I believe 5 minutes late first time you get a warning. But that's only for old heads. I don't even think that's a thing for new hires. So it also we're making it sound a little hard, but it kind of depends on who catches you when, and like any job, like any rules, there are exceptions. Sometimes the rules get applied a little inequitably. Sometimes people get in trouble for things other people don't get in trouble for. Them's the breaks. And so 5 minutes late, I believe initially it's a warning, but then after your first time, it's 5 points. 10 minutes late, 10 points. 15 minutes late, 15 points.
Yeah.
And so
thinking about it on a podcast, 25 points.
Literally.
So
yes, that's
right. Whoa. Be careful, guys.
And then also like contractual violations. So if you wear the wrong thing, like to show up to like your tour slot or whatever, you get points for that. Wow. Like that's 10 points. Yeah.
I will say I played against a bunch of Pathfinders in intramural volleyball.
Oh.
I've been to Pathfinder volleyball.
I think they did beat us and my team. So
really,
I have nothing bad to say at the moment.
We're famously very bad at intramural volleyball.
Yeah.
It seemed like everyone was really positive though.
Yeah.
And I played music and they liked it. So yeah, nothing bad to say.
Yeah. The game I went to, we won, even though I was so high. I got very high before I went. And so I was playing volleyball high, which I haven't played volleyball since literally the 7th grade. And I was doing like so bad, and there were like 3 or 4 like straight white men on my team, and so they take sports very seriously.
Yeah.
And I was like so scared. I'm like, they like all hate me now. And then near the end of the game, I was like so bad. I did not make a serve over the net until like the 3rd set or something.
Oh, babe.
And then literally I
Mhm.
just sent one right over, and they were not ready for it. And so I literally like aced it. I was like,
Slay.
y'all can't take me right now. Like, it took me a little while to warm up, but once I got there, I got a couple points for the
You
team,
were
and we did end
there.
up winning the game. And so
Yes.
yeah,
Nice.
my favorite part about working for Pathfinders was 100% the people. I really enjoyed getting to know everybody in the organization.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't think people know like how much goes into like being in like the college tour guide organization we were in, because there's also like all these crazy like stuff, like there's special, like there's your regular tour days where you give like regular tours of campus, and there's what's called program days. So that's either when like admitted students are coming, or when people can take like a more in-depth look at the campus. And so you have to have like special tours, special dress codes, all this kind of stuff for those days as well. And so yeah.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Is it explicitly, or do they ever talk about you guys hooking up with your tourees?
It's not something that's explicitly addressed ever.
Okay.
It was never explicitly addressed to me, I would say.
I would say I'd like to speak on this.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say maybe Pathfinders doesn't say anything about it, but if I'm thinking about who's on the tour, I'm thinking about minors.
Yeah.
And so hopefully no one would have to not be told to not hook up with.
Yeah, it's definitely something like people talk about in the organization. It's definitely more of a thing if you join like as a first year or a second year. That's definitely more of like a thing, because like you're still 18, 19, but once you're like 21,
20.
like 20, 21, 22, like these kids start to look like young.
Yeah.
And you start to realize like how much distance there is between you guys, and it just isn't.
Well, that's what I found interesting. So when I took my pit tour my summer of junior year, and then my freshman year, I almost hooked up with the Pathfinder I had, which obviously it's different because it's not like he gave the tour then, but like I was like, that's so funny, because I feel like that would have been really weird like 2 years ago, but it didn't come to fruition.
Can you give us a name?
Yeah, here, I'll type it in the chat.
Oh my god.
He would have been older than you guys. I don't know if you would have ever.
Maybe
we know him though.
Interesting.
Do you know a last name?
No.
What did he look like? Can you like describe him?
Like, he looks like every other dude. Brown hair, sort of a beard. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I like have a suspicion. I have like a sneaking suspicion.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wait.
Never happened though, so.
Oh my god. No, I'm oh my god. I need to text somebody right now about that actually.
Okay.
He
He was probably a senior when I was a freshman. Or senior when you were a freshman.
Yeah. It sounds extremely familiar.
Oh wait, I do have a wait, no, I don't.
If it's who I think it is, that's gonna be fully crazy. Anyway.
Whoa, okay. Keep me updated.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm getting connected with my sources as we speak.
Wow. Okay.
And so yeah, Lauren, do you have any like fun stories from shenanigans that have happened like while you were at work? Any like horror stories or anything like that on the job as a college tour guide?
Honestly, nothing too crazy. I really love giving tours. I always have like I always forget how much like every time I don't give a tour for a while, I always forget like how much I actually like doing it. Like I treat it as my stand-up. I like to get to know the families. It's my one-woman show. I will say though, and this is a humble brag, but I had these two girls on my tour. They didn't know each other. They randomly ended up on my tour. And I asked what other, it was only them two and their parents. And I asked like, oh, what other colleges are you looking at? And they said, well, one girl was like, oh, like I got into Duke and Harvard and Johns Hopkins. And the other girl was like, oh yeah, I got into like Columbia and she was like, oh, but I got a like they're like, oh, but we got full rides from Pitt, so we're checking it out. And I was kind of like, I honestly felt like a little defeated. Like I think Pitt's the best place in the world, but like I didn't think I could compete with all those other schools. Lo and behold, I come into work the next day and one of the girls is in the lobby. She had just committed to Pitt.
Oh my God.
I got a girl to turn down Ivy League schools.
That is crazy.
Because of my award-winning tour.
Literally.
Wow.
No, a full ride is like a crazy thing to turn away from, actually.
No, well, I would just.
No, well. Actually, Ellen, that's not the truth.
I don't think she was factoring that in when she committed. So.
Yeah, no, yeah, but like just if I were in her shoes, like obviously, but.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been happening a lot lately. It felt because I just worked the summer and it felt like a lot of people were getting tipped. So I think technically we're not supposed to accept the tips. However, something else about being a tour guide, especially at Pitt, we are not paid well. I'll say that. I said that to a lot of people during my time there. And so yeah, we did get a pay raise while I was there, and people do credit me with kind of getting us a pay raise because last summer I did start talking to people about unionizing. I was trying to start a labor movement. I was trying to start a labor movement at work. No, and I didn't even think it at first, but then people were like, Quinn, I was like literally like you, like after we got the pay raise, because like you would just complain about it a lot. And like because people were like, I think they're like legitimately scared. And I was like, oh my God, me being powerful anyway. So anyway, so we don't get paid super well. So, but it's not, I feel like it's the exact opposite of Lauren in that, well, I don't know, because I feel like it's the opposite of Lauren in that like people who think we do get paid probably think we get paid like a good amount of money to do our jobs, when that is just not the case. Especially for the amount of work we put into it, like we do not get paid a good amount of money. And so one time last summer, I was giving a tour and we get to the end of the tour. I'm like ending it. I'm like, thank you, everybody. And this family like stopped me and was asking me questions at the end of the tour, as is pretty normal. And then as I'm about to go, the dad's like, oh, and this is for you, he like sticks out his hand and like is like gonna shake my hand. So I like go to shake his hand and I feel a little piece of paper in it. And I'm like, oh,
who's that?
It's happening. And because like some people have gotten tipped and I don't technically think we're supposed to accept them, but everybody does. Especially because if you try to return a tip to somebody, they're like, oh no, take it. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't.
And so I put my hand in, he shakes, and I take the bill out, and they're like, and the mom's like, oh, you can go and like buy yourself coffee with that or something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, you guys, thank you so much. This is amazing. Like, I can't believe this. I love, like, thank you so much. And so obviously I'm not gonna like look at it like right in my hand, like in that moment. So I like walk a little bit. I have a little pep in my step. I'm like, ooh, I just got tipped. What is this gonna be? And so then I'm like a good distance away. There's like, I can't see the families anymore. And so then I look down at my hand and what do I see? But a $1 bill.
Wow. It's like at that point, just don't.
Exactly. I was talking to this girl who is a fellow Pathfinder, and she was talking about how she got an internship, and apparently the pay for the internship is literally $250 an hour.
At that point,
just don't even, because she was literally like, yeah, then I can't apply for like scholarships or anything with the internship because it's technically paid.
Oh.
And so like, yeah, and it's like at that point, just don't tip. Like at that point, it's just better. It's just better not to tip.
It's just rude.
And it was just so funny. And of course, it was the only tip I ever got. It's a perfect story, actually. But it was also so funny how he like made the big deal being like,
for you,
shaking my hand.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. And so that was
he
my
might as well
tipping
just
story.
Thrown 4 quarters on the ground.
Yeah, literally.
It'd be less humiliating.
But yeah.
Make you think it's more. Well.
But yeah, I have a lot more. We have a lot more stories to tell about that job for when somebody who is not currently employed there is on the podcast.
Yeah,
because we love Lauren. We don't want to get her in trouble.
We got to protect you.
But I have nothing.
It would be a disservice to the university to lose their best tour guide.
Literally, I have literally nothing to lose at this point. And Lauren has no competition for best tour guide now that I'm out of there. The stuff you have to go through to be a laborer in America.
Literally, to get minimum wage.
Literally.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
It's truly terrible.
Well, any final thoughts on working conditions for right now, or anything else you want to say about our job history?
It is my dream to one day not have a job.
Yes.
I think that's everyone's dream at this point.
Marry rich is.
I think everybody's realizing the system we have set up is kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Kind of doesn't work.
Yeah. Kind of. So yeah. I don't know. Our generation's relationship to work is certainly very interesting. Not sure if anybody's heard, but and so yeah, I would say if there's one piece of advice, please tip your service workers, guys.
Yeah, be nice.
And be nice. And be nice to people, guys. It's like when something's pissing you off, it's usually not the worker's fault.
Yeah.
Never.
And guys, give your phone number at Ulta. You cannot return products without it. Why won't you give me your phone number? You're being crazy.
You're being crazy.
Being crazy.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
that was something
nice to people.
That was something I realized, like especially like working with like for like the tour guide organization and stuff, because like in somewhere where it was not normalized to get tips, I realized how much they like really would have helped me out. And so now everywhere I'm like tip.
Yep.
Because people are probably getting underpaid.
So true.
And so yeah.
Wow.
But with that, I think we can stick a pin in our conversation on labor for now. And we'll be right back to get into our segments for this week's episode.
Yay.
Guys, I'm scared.
We're back.
I'm scared. But we're back. So, as always, it's time for our weekly segments. First being Comment Corner, which we have a really exciting email from a fan that Quinn will read now.
Yeah, so we have a comment corner. We bullied you guys enough. And we will continue to bully you because this is the only thing we really have on deck. So keep writing in just like this user has. This comes from Kylie. And the subject line is pulp. And so Kylie writes, "Hey, Becca and Quinn. So you said to write in about anything, and that is what I will do. Now there is this phenomenon with pulp and bone-in chicken wings. Why would you add something that makes it harder to eat/drink things with a lot of question marks and exclamation points? We've evolved past the need for pulp or bones at this moment in time. Why must I taste the inside of an orange when I only like the juice? Imagine eating the core of an apple. That is what it's like to drink the pulp of an orange juice. This is really random, but I'm curious what you guys think. Your loyal fan, Kylie."
And I'm so glad she was brave enough to say it.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Becca or Lauren, about pulp? There was also bone-in chicken wings got some mention in that email. What are our thoughts? High level.
I'm totally a non-pulp, bone out, a boneless lady. So texture, like I said, I'm weird with food. Texture is a big thing. I totally agree with her. Why put in more parts that are inedible? I don't know, Lauren, your thoughts on that?
I agree with the premise. the way she worded it made it sound like they put the bone back in. I think
And Lauren, you picked up on the same thing I'm picking up on.
they don't put the bone back in. They just don't take the bone out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think they both have a place. I think that bone out chicken wings, while I do enjoy not having to deal with the bone sometimes, taking the bone out just gives it a very different texture and flavor profile.
It's basically a chicken nugget at that point.
It's basically a chicken nugget at that point. I just feel like they cook it differently too.
It's a lot more childish also. Socially, it changes the interaction that you're having in the room.
Yeah, in terms of pulp, I don't know where I stand. I would never buy pulp orange juice because I think that's kind of a crazy thing to do.
Exactly.
But in the right circumstance, I would drink it. I just don't think it's a necessary part of the experience.
Yeah, I very much agree with Lauren. If like given the opportunity to buy my own orange juice, I'm probably not gonna go for like a pulp orange juice. But like if there's pulp in the orange juice, I'm not like hating my life or anything, you know. I do have to strongly disagree with the boneless chicken wings because I am a very big bone-in person. I love it's something that connects me to my roots as a cave person. I love eating meat off the bone, I have to say.
Wow.
I very much love it. Very much love it. Yeah, and like with my hands too. Like I hate when I'm eating like, okay, so one of my favorite things my dad makes is chicken thighs. Guys, chicken thighs are transcendent, and some barbecue sauce. Sorry if there are vegetarians or vegans listening. You guys, I'm sorry. This is a hostile zone for you right now because chicken thighs are so good. And like when people when I'm eating chicken thighs and like the vibe is to like use a fork and knife, I'm like I'm losing something of the experience. Because I will get gross with a bone of meat. Like I'll be getting every last little morsel off that bone is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I literally just had chicken wings yesterday.
And I think that really the chicken thighs brings us back to the core of the question. Why are we adding things like fork and knife to
literally
an experience that is inherently utensil free?
Yeah, we have to go back to our roots. We have to go back to our roots.
That was fascinating. That was a fascinating point, Lauren.
Literally, yeah.
Wow. So Kylie, in the end, we agree with you, but we also disagree with part of you.
Yeah. And yeah, Kylie, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But
yeah,
I so admire your willingness, Kylie, to write into us. Literally just about something that was on your mind. This is exactly what we want to hear from you guys. This is exactly the kind of thing we want to be hearing.
Kylie, you are the perfect fan.
Literally, nothing is too dumb to talk about. Like, you've all heard things Becca and I have talked about on this podcast.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like nothing. Like we're gonna go there. You know, that's something people say about us. And so yeah. But thank you so much, Kylie.
All right. So now it is time for our favorite jump scare and manic pixie moments of the week. So we'll start with jump scares, which is anything that truly terrified you, made you fearful, made you, guys, I'm scared. This week, I guess Lauren, we'll start with our guest. Anything that scared you this week, Lauren?
What didn't scare me this week?
Yeah.
I guess what really scared me is I would say I was at my lowest on Friday. And I was like, I didn't have any plans. I, worked a little, and the weekend ahead wasn't looking great. I had a lot of stuff at home that I need to, get done. But I decided I wanted to pull myself out of it. I was like, if I can't have it, like, let's just like talk to a friend, maybe get ice cream. I just needed ice cream with a friend. That's all I needed. I was like,
it's medically necessary. Yeah.
I'm really low. And something about me is that if you are my close friend from home, I do have your location on Find My Friends. I think it's really important, especially you're driving a lot at home. So I need to know how far you are from my house. And more importantly, I need to know if you're home. So I'm like, okay, who's it going to be? Who's going to get ice cream with me? I open Find My Friends. They're all gone. I am a lone circle in my community. They're down the shore. They're in New York. They're in Pittsburgh. They're famously at camp. And
terrible.
That's
that
terrible,
was really scary, and it reminded me just how alone I am.
That's humbling.
Oh my God. No, and being home is such like it can be such an isolating experience as like somebody who like, okay, this is like my home. This is where I grew up, like, and all that. But then you come home and you're like, okay, so every part of this that I used to enjoy is now different.
Yeah. Literally.
And like I have a whole life other places that is more interesting. Yeah, Lauren. Okay. Wow. You're speaking to something here.
We hear you. That sucks. I'm sorry. Wow. All right. Well, Quinn, anything scaring you this week?
My jump scare actually is, you're gonna have to walk with me on this one. So we're taking a stroll together. And so it was actually caused by Becca sending me back to Starbucks yesterday, because I was doing some work in a Starbucks and I get a text from Becca being like, Quinn, you have to go to Starbucks right now. And I'm like, okay. I was literally just walked home. I was getting dinner with a friend. So I walked home from Starbucks because it's right down the street from me. I walked home, dropped my stuff off, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go back to Starbucks. And so then I go into Starbucks and I see some of Becca's old coworkers who are fans of the pod. One of them wrote that beautiful iTunes review, our very first iTunes review. Shout out to James, I believe the name is.
John.
John.
Was it John? Who else was there, if you remember?
John, a girl with red hair.
Sarah.
I'm getting a K or a C as the first letter.
Courtney?
It wasn't that long. It was something like corn. Like
wait. Did she say her name was Courtney? Corn?
I read her name tag and it was like, I feel like it gave corn vibes.
Okay, so you cannot read their name tags because they all put fake names.
I think it said like corn or something.
Maybe it said Blarn.
Okay, but there was
I don't know.
And then there was like a manager. I do not think it was the Special George.
Okay.
But when I said like Becca, they were like, "Oh, Becca," and they were like, "How's Becca?" Like everybody wanted to know how Becca was, and they wanted to talk to me about the podcast. Really weird. And so that was a really nice moment. And then I walk outside, and this woman on the street stops me, and she's like, "Hey, my man," which, first of all, not the way to start a conversation with me ever, by referring to me as a man.
Yeah,
that's something I don't like. Just to put that out there. And so that's first, but she's like nice, and so I'm talking to her, and basically they're collecting donations for what? Breast cancer. And so I'm talking to these people on the street, and she's like, "Oh, can I interest you in like donating to breast cancer today? Like we work for this organization that provides women with like free treatment. It also helps their families while they're being treated. So like buys groceries for the kids, all that kind of stuff." And so it sounded like an amazing organization. And so I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll donate." And so they're like doing all this stuff because like you can get tax refunds. And so it was like this whole process. Like I was standing on the corner for like 10 minutes with her. And I literally had just checked my bank account like as I was walking back from Starbucks the first time. And like the number was a little lower than I like to see when I'm in there, but nothing like crazy. And so I'm like, okay, I'll give $5, $10 even, just something. And so she gets to it and she's like, oh, well, has anyone in your family ever been affected by breast cancer? And luckily I can say, no to that question. And she's like, you know what? That's really nice. I can tell you're a very kind spirit, because most people only start to care about breast cancer when somebody in their family is affected. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm an amazing person. And so anyway, so then she turns over the thing. And so she's like, okay, let me walk you through our options today. What is the lowest option to donate? What, $30?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And at this point, she's put all my information in. Literally, all I have to do is give her my debit card. And so I'm just like,
Oh boy.
yeah. So I was swindled into, not swindled. I don't know what the phrase is for that.
Swindled into donating.
I was pushed into
Persuaded.
donating. I was persuaded into donating $30 to breast cancer. Oh, and she said, yeah, so this $30 is going to buy groceries for the kids. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, yeah, I can't. I can't. And so, yeah, I did give away 30 of my American dollars yesterday. And so, yeah, a little bit of a jump scare.
I'm not sure if you're gonna believe me. I really hope you do, but I was tricked into giving $30 to PBS this week as well, in the exact same situation. She was at my door. This could have been my jump scare, of course, but I'm glad I didn't pick it. I was at my front door. I had just come home after a long day, and this girl, and she had so much anxiety that I just had.
You're like, she's not making anything else today.
I had to end the interaction as quickly as possible. I was like, what's your lowest donation? She was like, 30. Again, she had all my information. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I am about to spend $30 to make this girl go away.
Wow.
What is with this lowest $30 donation? Like,
yeah, it was fully crazy.
I'm a student. I'm a child.
Literally.
But guess what, guys?
I'm unemployed. I'm fully unemployed.
They got you.
They got both of us.
So it works, obviously. Man.
I am no longer underemployed. I am unemployed. I do not have a job. And so, yeah. That was my jump scare this week, and it was all because Becca sent me back to Starbucks.
Sorry, babe.
And so in that way, she was producing for the show as well. Oh, wait, if I talk about it, well, it's already gonna be like. It's also like Lauren just like threw something. I feel like we have to talk about.
My mom was like peeping her head, and I was like,
"You said Dale." And so apparently it's like tax deductible. So apparently I get it back. Will I remember to give it to my? Like, will I remember to do that? No, probably not. Anyway, Becca, what's scaring you this week?
So, nothing too terrible this week. So I guess I'll talk about the idea of dating apps as a whole, especially in
hometown
suburbs. Yeah. Suburbs of your hometown.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too many familiar faces, and then too many, unfortunately, just ugly faces.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It's scary. I don't like it. So yeah. But unfortunately, I feel like it is the way of the world, because I would love to meet someone in nature, but that gift has not been afforded to me.
Yeah, that's like the ideal, but it's just like there's so much against us for meeting someone in nature.
Exactly. And now that, like, oh my God, my best friend Neela just met the love of her life, basically the perfect person for her in Barcelona on Hinge. So it's like, it
works for some people.
Exactly. So maybe I need to be doing it. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give updates, I guess, on that as well. But I am scared.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Dating apps, very scary place to be, especially at home, especially in my home. It's like a who's who.
Yeah. It's bad. It's real bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But with that being said, and all of those scary, spooky scares, we now move on to our yippee yay yays, which are manic pixie moments. Anything that made us feel slay, slur,
Boots.
amazing, boots the house down, pussy purr. Sorry.
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 That's on me. That's on me. But yeah, so Lauren, what was your manic pixie moment of the week?
Well, it was a very exciting day on Thursday. My boyfriend had a day off
Camp.
from summer camp. If you're a new listener, he is there the whole summer. But he did have a day off, which is really exciting. I wanted to do something special because he was driving home, and I took a little trip to New Jersey, and I bought something that you can buy in New Jersey, but you can't buy in Pennsylvania. And I drove that home, and we enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day.
I just got what that is.
We consumed it together with 3 clicks.
It was a New Jersey license plate.
It was
eating it up.
License plate. And
Lauren definitely did not commit a federal crime.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
And it was just so nice and relaxing. Like it really was the manic pixie moment in a jump scare of a week.
Her.
That's amazing.
And that's what this podcast is about.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the light in the darkness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Aw. Do you know when he'll get his next day off?
He's actually done on Monday.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. OMG.
When will your boyfriend return for more? Monday, actually.
Seriously. Monday. Wow.
Oh,
Monday.
Wow.
Oh my God,
amazing.
yay.
Good for you, Lauren. Very
Yeah.
good. I hope you consume a lot more of that then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The celebration.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Quinn, what was your manic pixie moment of the week?
My manic pixie moment for this week was, so as I said, I wore a very nice outfit to the Muna concert, and I got a lot of compliments on it. But much like a manic pixie dream girl would do. So obviously, as I said, it was a very sweaty concert. It was very hot. So the clothes I wore, I was like, these have to be washed like immediately. And so I put everything in the wash, and I just kind of didn't think about it. I pulled my fun little fringy top out of the wash, and it is completely tangled up.
Oh no.
And in a way, I like set it out to dry, and I'm like, maybe drying will make it better. Same
She'll
way,
never
like 24
understand.
hours later, and I was like, oh, so I did this wrong, and now I'm pretty sure I've ruined the garment. And so yeah, I did part ways with it, because I am literally moving out, and so I was like, okay, so I'm taking this as a sign from the universe that she served her purpose for me, and now it is my time to let her go.
She did all she could.
I gave her one last hurrah, and then I literally physically ruined her. And so
destroyed her.
But I gave her one last amazing ride before she met her executioner. And so yeah. And so that it gave me manic pixie moment a little bit, like just like, like she's so silly. Like, why'd she do that? Like, why didn't she know you're supposed to put something like that on like a gentle cycle? Like, you can't just throw that in with the rest of your laundry.
So goofy.
I'm so goofy and silly and funny and approachable. It's like I make dumb little decisions like that. I need a big, strong man to come and save me from all the ills of the world.
Exactly. To untangle that sweater.
And so yeah, that was my manic pixie moment of the week. So R.I.P. Ms. Girl. We love you. You served your purpose.
She was.
You came, you served, and you conquered.
And she
died. Becca. Yeah, and bitch, she died. So Becca, what is your manic pixie moment for this week?
So my manic pixie moment was quite exciting. I went and I decided to do something brave and something I do probably once a year, cancel my Planet Fitness membership. And when I was leaving, they said, bye, fatty. Just kidding. But then I walked right over to AMC. No, I didn't. I online signed up to be, and I am now an AMC A-list member for
Yeah.
$20 a month. Yeah, I see 12 movies a
Wow.
month for free. I just pay the $20 a month. So you
That's
see
a crazy
basically 10
deal.
Yeah.
It's so good. So yeah, I'm so excited to be
Because
seeing
that's like
movies
one
all the
movie.
time. Literally.
Mhm.
Literally. And there's a movie theater like 5 minutes from my house. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely going to be seeing my 3 movies a week. And this is much better than any Planet Fitness
Mm.
thing
Yeah.
ever.
And it's AMC, so you know what that means.
Recline those seats.
We come here to feel. Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Lauren, as the first guest of MPJ, you now get to have the honor of adding something to the stand list. Something that someone who isn't me or Becca has not done before. And
This is
so
crazy.
you're making history. And she's
I
speechless.
misunderstood the rules.
Oh,
I'm gonna need a minute.
okay.
Okay.
Oh,
A
wow.
twist.
When I heard what you said, I thought that I was gonna be on the stand.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I see how you could think that, but that's not how it works. No.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, no.
No. I like this. I like this better. I will.
Yeah.
I will take my breath.
Lauren.
Okay, wait, Becca, can I see what shirt you're wearing for a second? It's very important. Okay, well, I think that, let me just make sure it's on this, but.
Oh my God. I'm very excited all of a sudden.
Wait, how did you even know there was anything on my shirt?
Well, obviously you're not just wearing a purple shirt.
This is crazy.
This is fully crazy. Because I definitely didn't notice that.
Okay,
So Lauren.
I'm ready.
Okay. Lauren has ended her deliberation. We have a little bit of a hint about what's to come. And I personally am so excited. Lauren, what have you got for us?
So, after hours of deliberation on what I think my entry to the stand list should be, I considered a few factors. I considered not only what I personally stand, but what deserves standship in the MPJ cinematic universe.
And this is exactly how everybody who comes on the podcast should be thinking about it.
Yes,
like
I'm
Lauren.
setting a precedent.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm adding graphic tees to the stand list.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That
Wow.
took such a left turn. Oh, wow.
I know.
And the
Oh.
reason I added graphic tees to the stand list is I feel like they don't get enough attention. And they're not talked about enough because casual wear has never been so elevated. You could dress it up, you could dress it down, you can lounge, you can go out. And there's something unique about a graphic tee is it is truly like limitless to what can fit on a t-shirt. And I think it shows so much personality. And I think they're cute and I think they're comfy and I stan them 110%.
I'm so behind. This is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Lauren, I think this is so meaningful. As someone who has personally made my face with my name graphic tees for 2 of my friends' birthdays before and made them wear it, this is just great.
Yeah. Literally all I own is graphic tees. It would be kind of hypocritical of me to say no.
I don't stand them. Yeah. So
yeah, I also think graphic tees. They're essential. They have ascended. Let it be law.
Let it be law. We
Let the light
stand
shine
graphic
in.
tees. Congrats, Lauren.
Yes, congratulations, Lauren. This is a big achievement. I think graphic tees are truly so versatile, especially this day and age, because some of them are like dead ass serious. Like I'm wearing a Muna shirt because I really enjoy Muna. And some of them are just ironic. Like I considered buying one that was like New York with just like a big hot dog on it.
So much creates like you can
Yeah.
just do whatever you want.
And like some of them say
Exactly.
like that t-shirt with like, what's the t-shirt account on Twitter? T-shirts with
Yeah.
like base t-shirts or something. Like there are always funny ones on there.
Yeah.
It's like graphic tees, there is so much you can do with them. So wow. Okay.
Great
Well,
entry, Lauren.
oh my gosh, that
Love it.
caps off a literal smash hit of a first guest
Yeah.
episode here on MPJ. So Lauren,
Woo.
where can the people find you if, you know, after last week they're so impressed with how much you can know in that big brain of yours, and also after this week they're so impressed by the person you are?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at lauren.tiers, Tiers, or you can follow me on TikTok at Lauren Taylor with 12 R's, where I have posted some content from 2020 and haven't gotten around to it yet. But if you want to check out some princess content, I
remember this era.
I did make 2 of those.
Amazing.
Becca, where can people keep up with you?
They can follow me on Instagram at Becca Hobart, Twitter, Bex Gloss, and TikTok, Where Y'all Going During World War III. And of course, they can also find me pretty much anywhere. Quinn, where can the people keep you individually?
You can follow me at Quinn P. Murphy on Instagram and or TikTok. And you can also follow me at Quinn P. Murphy _ on Twitter. And you can also find me ruining garments.
Wow. And of course, please keep up with the podcast at Manic Pixie Jump Scare on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we post the podcast at length and exclusive content over there. So if you're not subscribed, go and subscribe. Hit the like button. Please follow, engage. Don't dislike a video. I will cry. And then maybe do the bell. I don't know if we have that capability, but probably.
I think we do.
Probably just do that.
Yeah. Comment. We would love to read comments.
Yeah, I would love that. And
YouTube
then
comments
also,
can appear on Comment Corner, and also you can write.
I didn't know where you're going. Okay, you please, seriously, please, guys, please write into manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com.
We had an exemplary episode with what Kylie wrote in, also with what Lauren added to the stand list. So many great examples. This is how to do an MPJ episode. This episode right here.
Yeah, the perfect MPJ. So keep that in mind moving forward, guys.
And yeah.
Well.
We're Quinn. And we're
Becca.
And thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.